If you have diabetes and you've been avoiding nuts because you think they're too fatty or too high calorie, you might be skipping one of the easiest snack upgrades that you can make. And today I'm going to give you the top 7 nuts that can fit beautifully into a blood sugar friendly diet, plus the one simple portion rule that keeps nuts from totally ruining your blood sugar. And you definitely want to stay with me because one of these nuts gets labeled as bad all the time, but it's actually one of my favorite swaps for cravings. Now, before we get into the video and I start giving you all these details, I want to make sure and let you know that I'm not a medical doctor and this is not medical advice. However, I have been a type 1 diabetic for 33 years, and I've got all of the various technologies and all the stuff, and I have, let's see what I got here, my little pump. All these technologies are connected together, so my blood sugar is managed very well, but I do use all of the things that I'm telling you in this video today in my actual life, and I see the results. Now, one thing that I do want to drive home initially is to let you know that nuts are not magic, but they do bring a great amount of fiber, protein, and healthy fats that can help you feel full and can help make another snack that you might have taken hit slower and steadier. Here are the 3 rules that make nuts work for blood sugar. Number 1, it is portions first and portion control. So you want to aim for 1 ounce most of the time for all the nuts. Plain definitely beats flavored, so you want to go raw or dry roasted and ideally unsalted. Another key thing is that you want to swap and don't snack. You want to use nuts to replace things like chips and cookies or crackers. You don't want to add nuts to your already huge amount of chip, cookie, and cracker consumption. You want to replace the garbage with something less garbage. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the real details of what you came for. Nut number 1, that is almonds. So why almonds are so damn good is because they're a solid fiber plus protein combo and they're easy to portion. The best way to eat them is on like a grab and go snack situation, or you crush them up on some Greek yogurt or some oatmeal. The portion is going to be about a small handful, roughly 20 to 25 almonds is going to be about an ounce, just in case you're wondering. Basically what you want to do is think of almonds as the default setting nut. So if you don't know where to start or you're not big into nuts, almonds are a good one to start with. Nut number 2 is walnuts. So why walnuts are great is because they're one of the best choices for omega-3s. Probably the best and most popular way to eat them is to toss them into something like a salad or mix them into like a tuna salad or a chicken salad or pair them with like some berries or other fruit. Now, one thing that you definitely want to remember here is that walnuts, they go rancid a lot faster than all other nuts. So you want to make sure and store them in like a cool, dry place, like or usually in a refrigerator is where I keep mine, because if you just leave them out in the heat and the sunlight and all that other garbage, they will be bad real fast. So don't let your walnuts go to waste by not refrigerating them. If your goal is to support your heart while you support your blood sugar, walnuts are obviously number 1 pick for your rotation. Number 3 is pistachios. So the reason why pistachios are a winner is because they have a natural built-in portion control system in the nut, and it's called the shell that usually comes on pistachios. You can buy them, already pre-shelled. Just don't do that. Buy them with the shells on them. Granted, you are going to pay a little bit more money because you're paying for the shell, and you're probably not going to eat the shell because you're going to take the nut out of the shell. But whenever you do that, that's going to reduce the amount of nuts you're going to be able to eat because you're having to shell them all, and it just takes up more time. So it helps you to reduce your overall consumption. I highly recommend them for something like an afternoon snack whenever you get them cravings that hit. They're great to pair with stuff like cheeses. One thing that you definitely want to watch out for is flavored pistachios, because they can have lots of sodium and sugar added. You want to avoid all the extra flavors and spicings and things like that, because that just gets you more sodium and more sugar that you don't want. So essentially, pistachios are the snack that secretly teaches you to eat slower due to the shells. Pecans, or I've heard a lot of people, I've had arguments with people about how to say it. Like, how do you say it? Just let me know in the comments, because I say pecans but I also say pecans. I say both. So which is the right way to say it? I'm curious. Why pecans are a winner? It's because they're super satisfying and rich and buttery, and they can help you feel more full and more satiated whenever you eat them as a snack. A lot of people love to use them on something like some Greek yogurt or chopped up. I've seen hippies and people like that put them in like a chia pudding.
Do you mind if I take a quick look around your house? I'm afraid you may have hippies.
Hippies?
You just get some other snack that's lower glycemic, and then you add pecans, and they help add to the snack and make you more full without wanting more sugar and more garbage. Now, just like with other nuts, you want to watch out for the ones that are like the candied pecans, which are literally just a dessert. You want to save those for rare occasions because they're literally coated in sugar and garbage, and they will absolutely destroy your blood sugar. And I personally know this because I've done it more than once. Number 5 is hazelnuts. So why they're a win is because they taste indulgent, but plain hazelnuts are a totally different thing than a sugary hazelnut spread. So the best way to use them is to add to something like a trail mix that you make yourself, or chop in some dark chocolate, at least 85% cacao, and that will give you a controlled lower glycemic treat. Hazelnuts are proof that sweet doesn't have to mean sugary. Nut number 6 is macadamia nuts. Oh yeah. So why they're a win is because they're very low in carbs and they're extremely filling. They're great for people who do well with higher fat and lower carb snacks. Probably the best way to eat them is like small portions for things like cravings. You just grab a few of them and they help you resist those potato chips or the Twinkies or whatever else that you might want to be eating. And of course, number 7 is Brazil nuts. So why they're a win is because they are loaded with selenium, which is a great nutrient, but you don't need a ton of them. The best way is to eat literally 1 or 2 of them in a day. And you want to do that a few times a week, but you don't want to do a giant handful. The number one thing that I want to tell you about Brazil nuts is you don't want to eat too many of them, because if you do, they will poison you with selenium, and that it can kill you. So don't get killed by a nut. That would be probably pretty embarrassing for you and your family and anybody else who thought you were smart. If you're going to listen to anything in this video, remember that. Eat Brazil nuts, but only eat a couple of them, and only eat a couple every other few days. Because if you eat a whole handful of them, you'll die. Yeah. So the simplest way to make nuts blood sugar friendly is to use this snack formula.
Remember, ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli.
You want to do 1 ounce of nuts plus fiber, so like berries or apple slices or carrots or something like that. Then you want to add protein, so that's something like Greek yogurt, cheese, or eggs. Nuts work their best whenever they replace a refined carb, garbage snack, not when they become the second snack. So like I said, don't add them to your already garbage snacks. You need to replace the garbage with some nuts. And obviously we got to have an honorable mention, because I told you that we were only going to do 7, but this is the 8th one. It's cashews. Cashews are fine, but they're easy to overdo, and they tend to be a little more snackable. So if you love them, just measure your portions out and get just a handful of them. And you want to obviously avoid all the, like I said, the honey roasted versions and all that stuff. Just don't eat those. Just stay away from them. So in just a minute, I'm going to show you the fastest way to read a nut label so that you can spot the healthy looking bags that are actually sabotaging your goals. But before we get to that, I want to talk about one practical step that helps a lot of people stay consistent with food choices, especially at night, and it improves your sleep and it reduces your stress. If you're someone who gets hit with a late night craving, or you wake up feeling wired, many people find Ron's Balm's CBD CBN nighttime gummies a great way to create a calming bedtime routine. You just basically take them right before you go to bed, and they help you unwind so that you're able to go to sleep faster and you stay asleep longer. The best news about these gummies is that you can save 25% on your first order by visiting the link in the description below, or just checking out all of our stuff at ronsbalms.com. Okay, back to the important stuff, how to read the label. So here's the quick label test. You want to just grab a bag or a bottle or whatever of whatever nuts you got, and you want to look for 3 lines. That is the ingredients. This is like what's in the nut, and it should be mostly nuts. You want it to say something like almonds or walnuts or Brazil nuts or cashews or whatever that we've mentioned. And if you see sugar or honey or syrup or maltodextrin or dextrose or glaze or anything like that anywhere close to the top of the list, or even the middle really, you want to avoid those because those are what we call dessert nuts, and they're bad for you because they have so much sugar in them. Number 2 is what the serving size is. So most nuts are listed as 1 ounce. That's the portion that usually plays nicest with your blood sugar levels. And if the serving is super tiny, and you know that realistically you're going to eat triple whatever the actual serving size is, that's whenever you need to make sure you portion them out beforehand. Don't just open the jar and just start eating and see what happens. You're going to have a bad time. And then obviously you want to keep your sodium as low as you can as well, because you want to watch for, for your blood pressure and water retention. So you want to go unsalted or lightly salted if at all possible. Flavored nuts can be another trick. They put some sort of Cajun or some sort of barbecue flavor or whatever it is on there. But in reality, all that stuff is just packed with extra sodium and a lot of times extra sugar. So that's why you want to try to avoid all the weird ass flavors that people like to put on their nuts. So here's one other sneaky thing that you want to look out for. It's called trail mix. So trail mix looks healthy and it sounds healthy, but it often turns into nuts plus candy plus dried fruit plus sugar garbage oils and a bunch of other trash. And obviously all of those are packed with tons and tons of sugar and sodium and other things that you don't want. And the way to avoid that is you can make your own. So you would get something like nuts and then seeds, and then maybe also throw in some unsweetened coconut or some of the 85% cacao unsweetened chocolate chips. And if you do that, you're going to be able to keep your sugar and all your other stuff, your garbage, a lot lower than if you just pick something straight out of a bag and hope that they didn't put a bunch of sugar on it, because they always did. Essentially, what you want to do is look for the most boring label you can possibly find with the least amount of ingredients possible. If you can find a label that has 3 ingredients on it for your nuts, you're probably going to be doing pretty good. So I hope you have gotten value from this video and been informed. And if you have, obviously it would be great if you hit the like button, or if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, you can always subscribe. My goal here is to help folks just like you improve your health. And speaking of improving your health, I actually made another video that covers 3 of the best health trends that can naturally improve your health in the coming year. And you can watch that video right here. It's actually pretty funny because I was wearing the same shirt in that video, but I made that video a long time ago. I swear that I'm not making all these videos on the same day. I just only own like 3 shirts. So anyways, hopefully we see you all over there. Thanks for watching.